She married a billionaire to escape poverty. But in a mansion full of gold, her heart felt empty. What happens when an ordinary gateman becomes the one who holds her heart? Anita's wedding was like a dream, big, expensive, and full of rich people. Cameras clicked everywhere as she stepped out of a fancy car wearing a white gown covered in shining stones. People cheered, clapped, and smiled. She smiled too, but deep inside, her heart wasn't smiling. She was only 25 years old, but she had just married Chief Douglas Adeniran, a rich and powerful man who was 68 years old. He had grey hair, a big stomach, and a slow walk. But what he lacked in looks, he made up for in money. Anita didn't grow up rich. In fact, her family struggled. She had slept many nights without food, worn the same shoes for years, and watched her mother cry silently while cooking watery soup. So when Chief Douglas came into her life and treated her like a queen, it felt like a way out of poverty. He bought her expensive gifts, sent money to her family, and promised her a soft life. He proposed after 3 months, and she said yes. Her family was overjoyed. They had even prayed for this day to come because Chief was a very generous man. They saw him as the answer to their struggles. Anita's friends envied her. "You're so lucky," one of them said when Anita broke the news. "You will never know poverty again because Chief Douglas is a billionaire." But Anita knew something wasn't right. As she said, "I do." She looked into the old man's eyes and wondered, is this really the life I want? 2 weeks after the wedding, Anita brought up her dream, starting her own fashion brand. She wanted to do something with her life, not just sit at home, but Chief Douglas smiled and waved his hand. "Why suffer yourself? You're married to me now. Just relax, my dear. No need to work. I'll take care of everything." And just like that, he killed her dream. Anita's new life was comfortable, but boring. She had chefs, drivers, and maids. She had a big walk-in closet and every kind of perfume you could think of. She could fly to any country with a snap of her fingers. But despite all the luxury, she was lonely. Every day felt the same: wake up, eat, shop, take pictures for Instagram, swim, nap, and wait for her husband to come home. Chief Douglas was kind but not romantic. He didn't hold her the way young lovers do. Their nights together felt like a job, not love. Sometimes she faked moans just to end it quickly. Other times, she simply turned her back and wiped her tears in the dark. Sometimes, she would wake up in the middle of the night, sit up, and stare at her husband. "How long will I starve myself?" she thought. "This old man doesn't have the strength to quench this fire burning inside me." She felt trapped in luxury, like a sacrifice her family had made to escape poverty. One hot Tuesday morning, Anita was watering flowers when she saw a new face at the gate. He was tall, dark, muscular, and young, probably in his late 20s. His uniform looked tight on his body, and his eyes were sharp, like a soldier's. He caught her staring. "Good morning, Ma," he said respectfully. "Good morning," she replied, her voice a little shaky. That was the first time her heart had beat fast in months. She later asked the house manager about him. He's Kelvin, sent from the security agency. He's very focused, and he just started yesterday. From that moment, she started noticing him more. She found herself walking around the house more often, just to get a glimpse of him. Sometimes she'd fake phone calls or find silly reasons to stand outside. He wasn't just good-looking, he was calm, mature, and he reminded her what it felt like to want someone. At first, she brushed it off as a simple crush. But it didn't stop. She started dreaming about him touching her, whispering in her ear, holding her waist. Some dreams were so real, she'd wake up breathless. She began dressing up more often, wearing short gowns and body-hugging clothes when he was around. She wanted him to notice her, even if he didn't say a word. But Kelvin kept his distance. He was always polite, always serious. He never crossed the line, and that made her want him even more. One afternoon, she watched him from her bedroom window as he helped the cook carry heavy bags. He didn't act proud. He was always helpful, always calm. This made her desire him even more. One Saturday morning, Chief Douglas traveled for a one-week business trip. Anita was alone in the mansion. That Saturday, she took a glass of wine to the poolside, trying to enjoy the silence. She didn't see the broken glass bottle near the pool. She stepped on it and screamed. Within seconds, Kelvin ran to her. "You're bleeding," he said, lifting her gently and carrying her to a chair. Anita's heart raced as he touched her foot and cleaned the wound. His hands were warm and gentle. He didn't say much, but the way he cared for her melted her inside. When he finished, their eyes met. They were so close. She could feel his breath. "Thank you," she whispered. He stood up quickly, nodded, and walked away. She watched him leave, lips parted, her heart confused. It started raining heavily that night. Anita couldn't sleep. The house was too quiet, her body too restless. She walked out to the balcony in her night robe. The rain soaked her hair and skin. Then she saw him. Kelvin was outside, in the rain, working out. No shirt. His muscles flexed as he punched the air, did push-ups, and jumped. She watched him, forgetting the cold. Then he looked up. Their eyes met again. She turned quickly and ran inside. Her body was on fire. She poured herself a drink, her hand shaking. Then her phone buzzed. "Hope you're okay, Ma. Did you hurt your foot again?" She didn't know what came over her, but she typed, "Come to the garden. I need to talk." He replied, "On my way." She stepped out into the garden, standing under the rain, waiting. Kelvin arrived, holding an umbrella. They stood close, water dripping from their faces. "I'm sorry for calling you at night," she said. "You didn't do anything wrong," he replied. She looked into his eyes and said, "I don't feel alive in this house anymore, but when I see you, I do." Then, without thinking, she kissed him. It was soft at first, then deep, full of need, full of everything she had held back for too long. When they pulled away, shaking, breathless, she whispered, "This changes everything." That night, Anita couldn't sleep. Even after Kelvin left, her body still felt warm from the kiss. She lay on her bed, staring at the ceiling, asking herself the same question again and again. What have I done? She was someone's wife. She had stood before hundreds of guests and promised to stay faithful. But tonight, with one kiss, she had broken that promise. Still, she couldn't deny it. She felt alive again. Not like the woman trapped in a golden cage, not like the quiet, lonely wife of a powerful man. She felt seen, desired, wanted. But what if Kelvin regretted it? What if someone saw them? What if Chief Douglas found out? She pulled the blanket over her head, but the sleep never came. She was consumed with desire and confusion. What she had shared with Kelvin a few minutes ago was more than a kiss. Her heart pounded louder than the thunder, and one thought refused to leave her mind. What if this forbidden attraction turns into something I can't control? Will she dare to take the next step? Or will the mansion walls swallow her whole? Watch out for part 2 to find out. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell icon to catch all our upcoming stories.